Hey everybody, thanks for clicking on the video. Welcome back. I did a top 10 running backs going into the season. I did a quarterbacks one. And so I thought, why not? Let's do one for the wide receivers. One thing to state real quick is there are a lot more wide receivers in the NFL than there are running backs and quarterbacks. So I updated it a little bit to top 15, and we'll do a few honorable mentions. So let's just jump into it. One of my honorable mentions first was DJ Moore. I can't confidently say I watched a lot of Panther games to be like, okay, he's a top 10 guy, because the Panthers were kind of last season. But I did watch Vikings games, and so my other honorable mention, and he's now a Panther, Adam Thielen. He slowly regressed since his breakout season. I personally feel like in 2017 and 2016, I think he's met the, sunset of his career where I think Carolina will be his final stop. Number 15, I put Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Lions. I think he helps the offense. And you know what? If he's able to stay healthy and have a good season, there's no reason why he can't help contribute the Lions into getting a North title. 14, I put CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, even though he's on the Cowboys and there are seasons where they're really good, seasons where they're really bad, he has been a star for that team, no pun intended, where, he's early in his career and he's been able to make himself widely known. But the sad thing is, will he regress like Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, where he's eventually traded out? That is yet to be seen, but for now, I have him on this list. Number 13 I have is Terry McLaurin. And you know what? Hopefully that turf toe thing doesn't linger too long. If they can find who the decent quarterback is going for Washington, whether it's Sam Howell or Jacoby Brissett, I think he could be an offensive weapon to use to try to help them take the East, because they did sneak a win against the Eagles last season. But does that mean Washington's going to win the East? No. All right, number 12, I put DK Metcalf. There are some games I feel like since, his breakout year in 2019 where it's like, oh, I remember that game. In 2021, I remember he kind of took a back seat a little bit and he slowly kind of just, kind of like Tyler Lockett, which Tyler Lockett was another honorable mention. But maybe with Geno Smith, he can turn it around this season. But number 11, I have Garrett Wilson. Offensive rookie of the year, and he's got a great quarterback throwing to him, so no reason to not put him on this list. Devontae Smith, Alabama hero, young and upcomer for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he's had a great season every single year he's been in the league. It's cool to just see him cut in his routes, smooth like butter, and I think him and Hurts are going to tear it up this season. Jalen Waddle, I think of all the receivers, I think he can also just keep his explosion and speed going into this season where he was just a deep threat. And I think one of my favorite games was that where he exploded for a few touchdowns. And I think he's going to have a good season too. Cooper Kupp, he had a bit of a setback last season along with a lot of other Rams players. But he's still in that top tier where, he's a Super Bowl champ, Triple Crown winner, where he can't drop out of the top 10 altogether, because when he is on the field, he is very productive. So there's that key thing. Like the games that he did play last season, he was pretty productive for the most part. Number 7 is Stephon Diggs. I think coming into this offseason where there was a little bit of drama, but then they were able to, reconcile and fix the relationship. I think his bond with Josh Allen is really strong right now. And hopefully, he can be on the top of receiving yards and catches again and be in the conversation for probably maybe a Triple Crown. There are a few guys in this list that are above him in that talk, but it's fun to think about. Number 6, I put Mike Evans. Dude's really underrated. Dude has had, from his rookie season, consistent 1,000+ yard seasons. And he had one of the best quarterbacks thrown to him last season. Yet, the Bucs weren't as good last season, but he is still one of the key pieces as to why the Buccaneers were successful the last 2 seasons. Now, with Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield throwing him the ball, I don't know. I think the Bucs are wide open this season where they can be super successful or just a failure. And if that is the case, expect him to be traded. Last season I thought was going to be a lot better with Derek Carr, but it wasn't. He's still a top 3 receiver in my mind, even though like the success of the team doesn't show like how it was when he was at Green Bay. I expect him to have another good year this season. Number 4, Jamar Chase. He's pretty high on my list. He might not be on others, but I just really think that this year he's probably going to have to carry the load for the first few games and lead the wide receiver room. And I think he could probably have north of 15 touchdowns this season. Oh no, we'll see. Tyreek Hill. He's going to carry the Miami offense. I think Tua is going to take him only so far. Number 2, A.J. Brown. I think A.J. Brown just had an explosive season coming from the Titans to the Eagles. I remember on draft night when he got traded, I was like, that's a pretty decent move, because I remember he was really good with the Titans, and him and Henry, there was no reason to sleep on the Titans. They were really good. But then they got beat by the Bengals. And so, I mean, he had a touchdown in the Super Bowl. He doesn't drop too many passes. His quarterback trusts him. And so I think he'll have a really good season this year. And then number 1, no shocker here, 99 overall in Madden. The third player over. No, he was 2. No, was he 2 or 3? I don't remember, but you know, you got to go with Justin Jefferson. I remember he tore up the Packers in week 1, and I was like, fetch, he's arrived. And I think that how Jamar Chase was in 2021 when they went to the Super Bowl, I think 2022 was his breakout season, and now it's just scot-free from here on out. I think he'll be targeted a lot this season, but also I think, like, stats-wise, yards especially, and maybe targets / receptions. Touchdowns, no, because I think he will be very useful in the red zone, but I think his yards might go down just because teams will prepare, like when they go into the meetings. Like, they don't have to prepare for Dalvin Cook, and they don't have to prepare for Adam Thielen. It's like, it's just Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins. So it's like, okay, I think we know where the ball is going. Let's guard him. So, but thanks for watching. That's all the wide receivers that I think can have a good season this year. I'll try to catch you in the next video. Peace.